if you've ever found yourself wondering how to get a clickable title on your YouTube channel or how to create a really good thumbnail, then join the club. My name is Rachel, and if you've been following along, you know that we are on week 5 of the series that I've created, Intentional Steps to Creating Your YouTube Channel. As I said, it's week 5, and this week is all about clickable titles and thumbnails. All right, so clickable titles have everything to do with SEO, and we talked about SEO in the last video last week, and SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's really just a fancy acronym to basically say how to get my stuff found. So I do not pretend to be any expert, and I would like to just throw out a disclaimer. I'm keeping up with my videos for the week, but I do not feel like an expert in this area. So I do want to share with you what I found, and I'm hoping that you can take away a few tips and tricks to help you create a clickable title, how to create interesting, eye-catching thumbnails as well. But I do not pretend like there isn't a lot that I need to learn. But what I'm realizing with this week is that it's okay to do the research, and that's really great. But once you've created the videos and you're really getting into kind of like the meat and potatoes of things, I really believe that it's going to be much easier once you sort of get the ball rolling. And so I'm here to give you the tips and the tricks that I've discovered so far. However, I do completely understand that I have a lot to learn. So let's get into it. Clickable title. I don't know a ton about SEO, but I do understand the basic concept of making sure that whatever is in your title, let's say, is something that you have optimized for other people's search. So really easy. What that means is think about when you go on to Google or YouTube, what you type in is your search. And what you type in is likely what many other people type in, typing in very similar statements or questions. What happens is those become keywords. So when a lot of people are looking for the same keywords, when you use them in your titles, it tells Google or YouTube or whatever analytics, it tells them that you are in this same niche, let's say. But where at least I'm understanding, one of the problems is that if you don't have much authority, then you won't get ranked the way that other people will. And so I'm going to show you an example of this because I think that it's the easiest. So I'm going to share my screen, which if you'll remember from the other week, I have figured out how to do that. I'm going to give you an example. Actually, maybe I should I'm going to talk to you about VidIQ. So I'm going to let you know a couple of apparently some good tools to use to help you figure out keywords, but I haven't purchased any of them yet, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But one of these, this is a Chrome extension called VidIQ, and I've heard that it's really good. So I have put the Chrome extension on my Chrome browser, but there is a paid version of it, which I do believe is going to be probably a little bit more useful. But for now, I just want to show you what I've discovered this week. So let's say you're a hiker and you type in hiking essentials. You're going to get all kinds of videos, oh, we're a little laggy here, come up that have to do with hiking essentials. So you can see this one here. We've got essentials, 95,000 views. We've got 30,000 views with essentials, 35,000 views. Let's come down here. Let's see what this guy, 108,000, 889,000. So we've got 200,000 subscribers, 92,000 subscribers. Let's keep looking here, 64,000, 792,000. So these people would have a high authority. So when you're competing for words like hiking essentials, then you're competing against all of these other people who have a heck of a lot of subscribers. So if you're starting from the beginning, it's not really going to benefit you from using these exact keywords or in this phrase. And so VidIQ can help you kind of figure out what words you want in your title that will be good for you and the authority that you're ranking at the moment. Again, I don't pretend to be an expert, but this is what I've learned so far. So when you have the Chrome extension VidIQ and you come to Google, or sorry, it's over to YouTube, and you type something in, there will be this widget along the side and you will see it says VidIQ. And then you come over here and it says overall score medium. But let's take a look at this question mark and I'll read it to you. It says, the overall score is determined to help gauge how effective this keyword would be in your video optimization efforts. If you have 1 million plus subscriber channel, you might be able to break into highly competitive search terms. But if you are a smaller channel, it's better to stay focused on the mid-range search terms with low competition. So let's take a look here. All right, so we've got a volume of 40. We've got an overall score of 46. Take a look at the competition here. We've got medium. So really, ideally, if you're just starting out, you're looking for something in this range because it just means you're not going to pop up probably on the first several pages even. And so if you're looking to be seen, you might want to try to find something that has a lower competition. We're going to take a look at that in a second, but I just want to bring you down here where you see some search term statistics. The top channels for this particular search, here are the 3 top channels that when you put in hiking essentials, these are the channels that you're going to find most information on. We've got top related opportunities. Then I think if you pay for VidIQ, you can get a whole lot more information. When I get into the paid version, which is my ultimate plan, I'll definitely update this video and let you know what I found. Here are some other related queries. So if you are typing in hiking essentials, other people may have written something like essentials for hiking, or hiking essentials gear, or hiking gear, or day hiking essentials. So there are a lot of ways that you can take hiking essentials, which is fairly competitive, and rearrange the words or change the words or add some words to change the competitiveness. So this is where you have to be patient and you have to be okay with taking some time, spending some time to try to figure that out. Now, there are probably other tools that can help you do this, but today I'm just going to show you an example of what you might want to do. Just using your own brain. Okay, so instead of hiking essentials, what happens if we put in something like backpacking for beginners? Let's see what that does. Okay, so, all right, now we're still at 46, or we're at 46. I think the other one was 40, maybe, I can't remember. Now we're still at medium, so the competition is still pretty high, even though we've changed the words completely. But let's take a look down here. What we've got: backpacking tips, hiking for beginners, backpacking trips for beginners. Okay, all right. So let's think. What would be another phrase? Okay, you know what? Maybe what if we said best gear to hike with? Okay, so let's try that. Best gear to hike with. Hike with. Ah, okay, look at this. This is great. This is good. So we've got a score of 57, and the higher that score, the better. We've got a volume of 39, but look at this. The competition is low. So even though you might be thinking hiking essentials, that's awesome. But if you put in for your keywords on your title, best gear to hike with, now all of a sudden your competition is a lot lower. All right, so you can see that even though it's going to take a little bit of time, if you play around with just the wording, even though ideally it means the same thing, you can go from high to medium to low competition. And that's what you're going to want to do when you're creating your title. So of course you could go ahead and put any title you want, but if you want to optimize it for the best search for your level of authority, using this VidIQ as a tool might be something that you consider helpful. Fun fact, did you know that over 60% of YouTube users go to YouTube to solve a problem? So more than 60% of people who go onto YouTube type in a question to educate themselves about something. They're trying to figure out the answer to a question. If you're just starting out with your YouTube channel, this might be something that helps kind of inspire the beginnings of your content creation. So you might want to think about, how can I first educate my viewers in order to build a relationship with them and then kind of go out on your other pillars. Just to backtrack a minute, when you're using vidIQ and you're typing something into the search bar in YouTube, make sure that what you're putting in is relevant to what your video is about, of course, but also thinking about your niche or your pillars, because that will also help generate some ideas. And then you can just click on those and see what vidIQ comes up with. And you're always looking for something that is that low competitive keyword search. All right, so what about thumbnails? I'm not feeling super confident about thumbnails. I have recognized a lot of things along the way. And so I'm going to share some of those things with you. I haven't created any thumbnails at the time of this particular recording. I have some ideas generating in my head, but I have noticed some trends. And so actually, maybe I'll take you back to that hiking video. Let's go back there. All right, so let's take a look at the hungry hiker. We're gonna go to videos and let's just take a look through. This is what I've done over my time looking at titles and thumbnails. Now, I did do some research on what makes a good thumbnail, but also when you study your competitors, that's something else that you're going to want to take a look at. You want to look at what their thumbnails look like. You want to look at the consistency. Just look at YouTube platform on its own, and you'll start to notice some trends. And these are some of the trends that I'm noticing for many of the thumbnails that I'm coming across, many of the videos that I'm coming across. A lot of videos have big, bold words. They use easy to read font. They're nice and large. They're usually written, I see that the Hungry Hiker has used a lot of white wording. Are there any other colors? No, it's mostly all white. A lot of times people will use bright colors, but of course, this is the Hungry Hiker who is doing a lot of hiking, seems to be in the mountains. So we see a lot of mountains, we see a little bit of woods, but what you see is not only this big, bold script or text, but what you also see is that whatever is across the thumbnail, the words across the thumbnail are often found inside the title as well. And of course, the thumbnails are usually bright. They've got some color. I notice many people are putting their own faces as a part of their thumbnail. So these are some of the things that I've just discovered on my own. When I did a little bit of research, I learned a couple of things that I need to really put into play before I can report out on them. One of the things that is popular is a before and after. Sometimes that doesn't work with your niche, but if you have something that you can make before and after, then in your YouTube thumbnail, what you would do is a before and after shot, and then write the words before and after. Another thing that was suggested is to have some sort of emotional moment. And so in your thumbnail, maybe your picture would be one of surprise or one of sadness or whatever it is. You do need to make sure that it connects to the video, because the last thing that you want is to have this clickable title and this clickable thumbnail, and then your viewer to go in and it has nothing to do with what your video is about. We don't want to play around with clickbait, but you do want to try to evoke the emotion of whatever your content that is that you've created. Now, if you're doing a how-to tutorial, maybe a part of your thumbnail is that how-to process. And of course, if you've got some sort of featured product, or perhaps there's a featured person, then those are some of the things that you might want to put in your thumbnail to make them a little bit more clickable. Something interesting that I obviously haven't put into play yet, and I don't know a lot about, is called A/B testing. And I know that there are some tools that you can use that will do the A/B testing for you. vidIQ might be one of them, but I can't quite remember. Or you can do them manually. But basically what it is where you create two thumbnails and you test each one out, let's say a week at a time, and then you look at your analytics and you see which one is more clickable. So even though this takes time and energy, it will really probably speak volumes to, as you're creating your thumbnails, sometimes maybe you really think that it's a great thumbnail, but according to the analytics, your viewers are clicking on something different. So once you kind of get the ball rolling and you're creating these thumbnails, that's probably something that you might want to look into, because hey, even if it's only a 2% more click, if people are clicking on your videos and watching them a little bit more than with another thumbnail, who wouldn't want to know that, right? All right, so we've talked about clickable titles. We've talked a little bit about thumbnails, although I am no expert. And now I just want to tell you about 3 tools that I am hoping to invest in, but I know nothing about just yet. But once I find out more, I will be sure to let you know. So the first one is VidIQ, which I showed you a little bit about. The next one is called TubeBuddy. I don't know anything about TubeBuddy just yet, but I do plan to spend a little bit of time figuring out that tool. The third one is Keywords Anywhere, Keywords Everywhere. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something like that. Keywords Everywhere. I don't know. I did try to install that. It's also a Chrome extension, but my understanding was that you could use it for free for a couple of searches. But when I try to use it, I get nothing. It tells me that I need to buy credits. And so although I do feel like I'm going to probably invest in it, I want to investigate a little bit more. I need to know, do you know anything about VidIQ, TubeBuddy, or Keywords Anywhere? If you do, I want to know everything. I want to know the pros. I want to know the cons. I want to know what you love. I want to know what you loathe. Tell me, I need to know this information before I invest. So if you've already invested in any of those, please let me know. If you haven't invested in those, I'm going to go ahead and invest and let you know at some point in the future. But please comment and let me know what you know so that we can work on this together. If there's one that you love, please tell me why. All right, as always, if you found any part of this inspirational, please give me a thumbs up, because it lets me know that I am providing you with some sort of value. And of course, always remember to trust your own journey, and I'll see you in the next one.